Does a breach notice mean a tenant is being evicted straight away? This is one of the biggest myths around tenancy issues. A lot of tenants hear the words breach notice and immediately think, that's it, I'm being evicted. But that's not usually what it means. In most cases, a breach notice is a formal written warning. It tells the tenant what's gone wrong and what needs to be fixed, and how long they've got to fix it. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what a breach notice for a tenant is, when it might be used, what needs to be included, and what can happen if the issue isn't resolved. Most importantly, I'll explain why a breach notice isn't the same thing as an eviction notice. If you're a landlord, property investor, or a tenant, this is worth understanding because getting it wrong can create confusion, stress, and avoidable expenses. Why does this matter? These situations can escalate quickly when people misunderstand the process. For landlords, it's about knowing how to respond properly when a tenancy agreement has been breached. For tenants, it's about understanding what the notice actually means and what happens next. It's the formal step that says, there's a problem, here's what needs to be changed, and here's how to fix it. Imagine your tenant has fallen behind on rent. At first, it might seem like a late payment. Then another payment is missed. A few reminders go out and nothing's changed. At that point, the issue may move from an informal concern to a formal process. And that's where a breach notice can come in. It's the point where things stop being casual and start being officially documented. So what is a breach notice exactly? To put it simply, it's a formal notice saying that a part of the tenancy agreement has been broken. That could be unpaid rent, damage to the property, failing to keep the place reasonably clean, or another part of the rental agreement not being met. Think of it as an official written warning. It sets out the issue, explains what needs to be done to remedy it, and gives a time frame for when this has to happen. And remember, that time frame matters. A breach notice is about giving the tenant a chance to fix the issue, not automatically ending the tenancy on the spot. What might cause a tenant to receive a breach notice? One common example is rent arrears. If rent hasn't been paid, that can trigger a breach process. Another example is damage to the property beyond normal wear and tear. It could also be about the condition of the property, like failing to keep it reasonably clean. Sometimes it's repeated smaller issues that have been raised before, but the matter now becomes formal. For example, a property manager may have been already following up multiple times about late rent, property damage, or any other unresolved issue. A breach notice may be the point where that issue now becomes an official matter. Once that happens, the details become really important because this is where people can fall short. A breach notice needs to be clear, accurate, and properly prepared. It should clearly explain what the breach is, what part of the agreement has been broken, what needs to happen to fix it, and how long there is to remedy the issue. It should also be very clear what may happen if the issue isn't fixed. It is also important that the notice is issued correctly. That means the wording, the dates, the details, and the way it's served all matter. Because even if the issue itself is genuine, a poorly prepared notice can create problems later on. So this isn't about just identifying a problem, but handling the process properly. And that's the part that confuses a lot of people. A breach notice is not the same as an eviction notice. A breach notice says, there's been a problem, you need to fix it. An eviction notice is about ending the tenancy agreement. A breach notice is usually a formal warning and an opportunity to remedy the issue, not an automatic eviction. Have you ever seen people confused between a breach notice and an eviction notice? Or have you ever had to deal with one yourself? Let me know in the comments what happened and how you resolved it. So what happens if the breach notice isn't fixed? That's when things now become very serious. If the issue isn't remedied within the required time frame, the matter moves to the next stage. That could involve further action through tribunal or legal processes, depending on the situation and the state or territory that the property is in. The exact rules, notice periods, and next steps can vary across Australia. So while the general concept is similar, the process isn't always identical in every state. The key takeaway is that a breach notice is the formal warning stage, and if the issue isn't resolved, it can lead to further legal action. Both the landlords and tenants should take the breach notices very seriously. To wrap it all up, a breach notice for a tenant is a formal notice that says part of the tenancy agreement has been breached, what needs to happen to fix it, and again, how long is there to fix it. It is serious, but it's not the same as an eviction notice, and understanding the difference can help everyone involved respond more calmly, more clearly, and in the right way. If you found this video useful and want more practical tips around landlord responsibilities, property protection, and managing tenant-related risks, make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.